Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the psyche of car guys like you and me. We're talking about the fears, the anxieties, the things that keep us up at night when it comes to our beloved vehicles. Because let's face it, being a car enthusiast is more than just a hobby, it's an emotional roller coaster. Now some of these fears might seem a little irrational to the average person. They might not understand why we cringe at the sight of a curb rash or break into a cold sweat when we hear a weird engine noise. But you get it, right? You understand the deep, almost spiritual connection we have with our cars. So, buckle up as we explore the top 10 fears that plague every car enthusiast's mind. From the dreaded door ding to the nightmare of engine failure, we're covering it all. And trust me, some of these stories you're about to hear will make your hair stand on end. Get ready to nod along in agreement, maybe even shed a tear or two as we delve into the fears that haunt us car guys. Let's get started. Alright, let's kick things off with a fear that's as universal as it is relatable, the dreaded door ding. I don't care if you drive a pristine classic or a beat-up daily driver, that sickening sound of metal on metal is enough to send shivers down your spine. It's like nails on a chalkboard, but for your car. And the worst part? It's usually not even your fault. You park your car, minding your own business, carefully choosing a spot far away from any potential hazards. You come back to find a nice little dent, courtesy of some careless driver who couldn't be bothered to open their door with a modicum of grace. It's infuriating, it's heartbreaking, and it's a constant reminder that no matter how careful you are, the world is full of hazards just waiting to leave their mark on your precious paint job. So, yeah, the next time you see a car parked too close to yours, don't judge the driver for taking an extra minute to carefully maneuver out of their spot. They're not being dramatic, they're just trying to survive in a world full of door-dinging monsters. Alright, let's move on to a fear that's even more terrifying than the dreaded door-ding engine failure. I'm talking about that heart-stopping moment when you hear a strange noise coming from under the hood. It starts subtly, a faint ticking or a slight whine, but it's enough to send a wave of dread washing over you. Maybe you try to ignore it at first, hoping it's nothing serious. You turn up the radio, trying to drown out the sound, but it's no use. It's there, lurking in the back of your mind. A constant reminder that something might be terribly, terribly wrong. And then, it gets worse. The ticking gets louder, the whine turns into a grinding, and suddenly, you're faced with the sinking realization that your engine might be on its last legs. It's like a punch to the gut, a betrayal by the very machine you've poured your heart and soul, and probably a good chunk of your savings into. Now, even if you're not a gearhead, you know that engine problems are synonymous with expensive repairs. We're talking about thousands of dollars, potentially tens of thousands, depending on the severity of the issue. And let's be honest, most of us car guys aren't rolling in dough. But it's not just about the money, is it? It's about the emotional toll, the feeling of helplessness when you realize your beloved car is out of commission, the uncertainty of not knowing how long it'll take to fix, or if it's even fixable at all. And then there's the dreaded question, do you sink more money into an aging engine or do you cut your losses and start looking for a new car? It's a tough call and one that no car enthusiast wants to make. Trust me, I've been there. I've stared at my fair share of ominous engine warning lights, felt the despair of a blown head gasket, and endured the financial sting of a major engine overhaul. It's enough to make you want to give up driving altogether and stick to riding a bicycle. But then, of course, you remember the joy, the freedom, the sheer thrill of getting behind the wheel of a car that runs perfectly. And so, we persevere, hoping against hope that the next strange noise we hear is just our imagination. Alright guys, let's talk about a sight that can send shivers down any car guy's spine. The dreaded check engine light. You know what I'm talking about? That little orange beacon of doom that illuminates your dashboard and instantly makes your stomach drop. It's like the car equivalent of a doctor's visit. It's gonna be bad news, and probably expensive bad news. Is it a minor sensor malfunction, or did your transmission just decide to pack its bags and retire early? The suspense is truly agonizing, and the worst part is, even if it turns out to be something minor, you still have to shell out for the diagnostic fee. Because, you know, mechanics need to get paid for plugging in a computer and reading a code. But hey, at least you'll have peace of mind, right? Speaking of expensive, let's not forget about the cost of parts. Now, I'm a firm believer in using OEM parts whenever possible, especially on those quirky German cars I love so much, but let me tell you, those parts don't come cheap. It's like they're made of unicorn tears and sprinkled with gold dust. You need a new headlight assembly for your BMW? Sure, that'll be $1,500, please. And don't even get me started on the price of brake pads for a Porsche. It's enough to make you want to sell your car and buy a bicycle. But then you remember how much fun it is to drive that car. And you resign yourself to a life of instant ramen and living paycheck to paycheck, just so you can keep your baby on the road. You know, one of the worst feelings in the world is that nagging worry that something might happen to your car. It's like having a little voice in the back of your head constantly whispering, what if someone steals it? What if someone breaks in? And the worst part is, there's not much you can do to completely eliminate that risk. Sure, you can install alarms, immobilizers, and park in well-lit areas, but at the end of the day, if someone really wants your car, they'll find a way. It's like that saying, a lock only keeps an honest man honest. And let's be real, not everyone out there is interested in playing by the rules. So you're left with this constant low-grade anxiety, hoping and praying that your car will still be there when you come back. And you know, it's not just about the financial loss. I mean, yeah, losing a car to theft is a huge financial blow, but it's also an emotional one. For car guys like us, our cars are more than just machines. They're extensions of ourselves, representations of our passions and personalities. They're where we spend countless hours tinkering, cleaning, and driving. They're our escape from the daily grind, our partners in crime on road trips, and the source of endless joy and frustration. So when someone steals your car, it's like they're stealing a part of you. It's a violation, a feeling of being personally targeted and violated, and that's something that can be really hard to shake. Alright, let's talk about another one of a car guy's worst nightmares: bad weather. And I'm not just talking about torrential downpours or blizzards, although those are definitely up there on the list. I'm talking about even the slightest drizzle, the kind that leaves your car covered in those annoying water spots. You know what I'm talking about, those pesky little spots that seem to multiply overnight and are impossible to remove without a professional detail. It's like your car has the chicken pox, but instead of itchy bumps, it's covered in unsightly blemishes. And then there's the constant worry about hydroplaning, especially if you're driving a rear-wheel drive car. You know that feeling, when your tires lose contact with the road and you're basically just along for the ride. It's enough to make your heart skip a beat or 10. And just when you think you've escaped the wrath of the rain, there's another more insidious threat lurking on the horizon: the sun. Now I know what you're thinking, Doug, the sun? Really? But hear me out. Those UV rays might feel good on your skin, but they can wreak havoc on your car's paint. Over time, they can cause fading, cracking, and even clear coat peeling. It's like a slow, agonizing sunburn for your car's exterior. And let's not forget about the interior. Leather dashboards can crack and fade, plastic trim can become brittle and discolored, and your once plush seats can turn into a sticky, sweaty mess. So yeah, the sun might seem harmless, but it's a silent killer, slowly but surely degrading your car's appearance and value. Alright guys, let's talk about something that keeps every car enthusiast up at night: depreciation. It's the silent killer of car ownership, slowly chipping away at your car's value like a money-hungry gremlin hiding in your garage. You could baby your car, keep it in pristine condition, and yet, that odometer keeps ticking up, and the value keeps ticking down. It's enough to make you want to wrap your car in bubble wrap and never drive it again. But let's be real, that's no fun, is it? We buy these cars to enjoy them, to experience the thrill of the open road, to feel the engine roar, and all that driving, all that enjoyment, it takes a toll on the value. It's like a cruel irony. The more you love your car, the more you drive it, the faster it depreciates. Now, some cars hold their value better than others. You've got your limited edition models, your rare classics, your future collectibles. Those are like the investment grade cars, the ones that might actually appreciate in value over time. But for the rest of us, for those of us driving your everyday sports cars, your fun hatchbacks, your beloved daily drivers, depreciation is a fact of life. It's like that nagging feeling in the back of your mind whispering, enjoy it while it lasts, because every mile you drive is another dollar off the resale value. But hey, that's all part of the game, right? We accept depreciation as the price we pay for the joy of driving. Now, I'm not saying we should just accept our fate and watch our car's value plummet like a lead balloon. There are things we can do, strategies to employ, to minimize the impact of depreciation. First and foremost, keep it clean, inside and out. A well-maintained car is a more desirable car, and that can make a difference when it comes time to sell. Second, keep those modifications tasteful. I know, you want to personalize your ride, make it your own. But going overboard with crazy mods can actually hurt the resale value. Remember, not everyone shares your unique taste. Stick to reversible modifications and keep it classy. Third, document everything. Keep those service records organized, take pictures of any repairs, and keep track of all the loving care you've put into your car. This shows potential buyers that you've taken good care of the car and gives them that extra peace of mind. And finally, don't obsess over it. Depreciation is a fact of life, and stressing about it won't change a thing. Enjoy your car, drive it, and create memories that will last long after the resale value has faded away. After all, the real value of a car isn't measured in dollars and cents, but in the smiles per gallon it puts on your face. Alright guys, let's talk about something that sends shivers down the spine of every car enthusiast: bad gas. You know that feeling, that pit in your stomach when you pull up to a gas station that looks a little, shall we say, sketchy? You start questioning your life choices, wondering if that extra 5 cents per gallon at the fancy gas station across town was worth it. But sometimes you're in a pinch, running low on fuel, and you have no choice but to roll the dice and fill up at the questionable gas station with the flickering fluorescent lights and the overflowing trash cans. You tell yourself, it's just one tank, it'll be fine. But deep down, you know there's a chance you're about to unleash a world of hurt on your beloved car. Bad gas, my friends, is the silent saboteur of the automotive world. It lurks in the shadows, waiting to clog your fuel injectors, gum up your engine, and leave you stranded on the side of the road with a wallet full of regret. It's like playing Russian roulette with your car's health, and the only prize is a hefty repair bill. And the worst part? You often don't know you've been hit with bad gas until it's too late. Your car might start sputtering, hesitating, or losing power. You might even see your check engine light blinking ominously like a warning beacon of impending doom. So how do we avoid this fuel-injected nightmare? Well, the obvious answer is to stick to reputable gas stations. You know, the ones with clean pumps, friendly staff, and maybe even a convenience store that doesn't smell like stale coffee and despair. But even then, there's no guarantee. Sometimes, even the best gas stations can fall victim to contaminated fuel. That's why it's a good idea to pay attention to your car. If you notice any unusual performance issues after filling up, especially if you had to resort to a questionable gas station, don't ignore it. Take your car to a trusted mechanic and have them check it out. And here's a pro tip. Consider using a fuel additive every now and then. A good fuel additive can help clean your fuel system, remove water and contaminants, and keep your engine running smoothly. Think of it like a multivitamin for your car, ensuring it gets the nutrients it needs to stay healthy. Remember guys, bad gas is a real threat, but it's not an unbeatable foe. By being vigilant, using common sense, and maybe carrying a lucky rabbit's foot, we can navigate the treacherous world of fuel and keep our cars running smoothly for miles to come. Alright guys, let's dive into a fear that's as primal as it is universal for us car guys: losing control. It's that heart-stopping moment when you feel the car start to slip, the tires losing their grip on the road, and you realize you're just along for the ride. Whether it's a patch of ice, a sudden downpour, or just pushing the limits a little too far, losing control of your car is an experience that stays with you. And it's not just about the potential for damage, although that's definitely a major concern. It's about that feeling of helplessness, of being at the mercy of physics and fate. It's a stark reminder that, no matter how skilled a driver you are, no matter how much control you think you have, there are forces at play that can easily overwhelm you. Now, some cars are more prone to losing control than others. You've got your rear-wheel drive sports cars, known for their tail-happy tendencies. You've got your high-powered muscle cars, eager to break traction at the slightest provocation. And then you've got your, shall we say, differently abled cars, the ones with questionable handling and a tendency to swap ends if you look at them funny. But regardless of what you drive, that fear of losing control is always lurking in the back of your mind. It's that little voice whispering, "Easy there, buddy, don't get too cocky." Now, I'm not saying we should all become timid drivers, too afraid to push our cars and enjoy their capabilities, but there's a fine line between confident driving and reckless abandon. And knowing how to maintain control, especially in challenging conditions, is crucial. First and foremost, respect the conditions. Rain, snow, ice, even loose gravel. These are all factors that can dramatically affect your car's handling. Adjust your driving accordingly, slow down, increase your following distance, and be extra cautious. Remember, it's better to be safe than sorry, even if it means sacrificing a few tenths of a second on your commute. Second, know your car. Every car handles differently, and understanding your car's limits is essential for maintaining control. Take it to an empty parking lot, practice some emergency maneuvers, get a feel for how it reacts in different situations. The more familiar you are with your car's behavior, the better prepared you'll be if things start to go sideways, literally. And finally, don't panic. I know, easier said than done when you feel the car starting to slide, but panicking will only make things worse. Take a deep breath, stay calm, and try to remember your driver's ed training. Countersteer, ease off the gas, and gently apply the brakes if necessary. With a little luck and a lot of skill, you might just be able to regain control and live to tell the tale. Alright guys, we've all been there. You've got a weird noise coming from your car, maybe a clunk in the suspension or a ticking from the engine, and you know it's time for a trip to the mechanic. But then, the anxiety sets in. Who do you trust with your baby? It's like handing over your firstborn to a stranger, right? Finding a trustworthy mechanic is like finding a hidden gem. You ask around, you scour online reviews, hoping to find someone who won't treat your car like just another job. Because let's be honest, some mechanics treat cars like they're on an assembly line just trying to get through as many as possible in a day. But for us car guys, it's different. This isn't just a machine, it's an extension of ourselves. We want someone who understands that, who's going to take the time to diagnose the issue properly, not just slap on a band-aid solution. We need a mechanic who's going to treat our cars with the same care and respect we do, and then there's the fear of getting ripped off. We've all heard the horror stories of mechanics inflating repair costs, recommending unnecessary work, or even worse, using subpar parts. It's enough to make you want to learn to rebuild an engine yourself. The worst part is, unless you're mechanically inclined yourself, you're at their mercy. You're relying on their expertise, hoping they're being straight with you. It's like taking your car to a doctor who speaks a language you don't understand. You just have to trust that they're prescribing the right treatment. That's why finding a good mechanic is like finding a best friend who also happens to be a car whisperer. Someone you can trust to give you honest advice, fair prices, and most importantly, treat your car with the respect it deserves. Once you find that mechanic, you hold on to them for dear life. They become your go-to person for everything from routine maintenance to major repairs. They're the only ones you trust to keep your baby running smoothly. So, here's to all the trustworthy mechanics out there, the ones who understand our passion and treat our cars like their own. You guys are the real MVPs. Okay, let's talk about something that's been on my mind lately, the relentless march of technology in cars. Now, I'm all for innovation, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I feel like the automotive industry is going a little overboard with all the screens, sensors, and self-driving features. I mean, remember the good old days when a car was just that, a car? You had your steering wheel, your pedals, and a dashboard with just the essential gauges. It was simple, it was elegant, it was pure mechanical bliss. But now stepping into a modern car can feel like stepping into the cockpit of a spaceship. Everywhere you look, there are screens flashing at you, buttons that are touch-sensitive and finicky to use, and features with names like lane departure warning and adaptive cruise control. Don't get me wrong, some of these technologies are pretty cool and can even be helpful, but it's a lot to take in, you know? And then there's the whole self-driving thing. I get it, the technology is impressive, but the idea of handing over control to a computer just doesn't sit right with me. Call me old-fashioned, but I enjoy the feeling of being connected to the road, of being in control of this powerful machine. But the biggest fear with all this new technology is, of course, the potential for things to go wrong. Remember that time my infotainment system completely froze on me while I was driving? I couldn't even change the radio station. And don't even get me started on those touch-sensitive buttons. I mean, what happens when a sensor malfunctions? Or worse, what if the self-driving system glitches out while you're cruising down the highway? It's not like you can just pull over and pop the hood to fiddle with a carburetor anymore. Look, I appreciate the advancements in safety and convenience that new technology brings to cars, but I can't help but feel a little apprehensive about all the potential points of failure. It's a lot of trust to put in a bunch of microchips and lines of code, wouldn't you say? So here's hoping that the car makers have done their homework and that all this new technology is as reliable as they claim it to be. Because the last thing any of us want is for our cars to turn into giant, expensive smartphones on wheels. Well, there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the heart-stopping fear of that first scratch to the anxiety of trusting a mechanic with your beloved car. And let's not forget the existential dread of technology taking over our driving experience. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more car content. Let us know in the comments what your biggest car-related fear is. See you next time.